morning, YouTube. Here's another video in the Generals series on how to obtain Generals. I'm going to talk about several different ways that you can obtain Generals, what kind of Generals you should get, what might be useful to you depending on your playstyle and your purpose, and also my tips, my way to get Generals without spending those hard-earned dollars that will just save you money in the end. So let's get started. The first way to get Generals is just through the tavern. If you take a look at the middle of the screen here, you'll see that there is a recruit button. In the recruit button, you can purchase Generals here. They refresh every couple of hours, and the quality of the Generals depends on the level of your tavern. You can, at a lower level, you can get some really good Generals too, but they're far and few in between. Whereas if you have a higher level tavern, you're going to get those more consistently. At the bottom right, it says Portraits. If you click on that, you'll see all the available Generals, and this is really where you can go in, click on one, see what they actually do. As you can see down here, some of them are not available in the tavern, and that's one of the money-making ways for Evony. They have new Generals that come out with special skills that you can only get through purchasing. So if you want to get those Generals, you're going to have to spend money. But there are plenty that are available in the tavern that should suit you in pretty much any situation. So as I said, the other way to get Generals is to watch what's going on in events. Right here we have one going on, and it says in the 5th package you can get General Arminius for brand new super attack defense. It doesn't tell his skill. I think it's in the event notes, but I never buy these anyway, so it doesn't really affect me. But if you do want to get specific Generals, then you can purchase them through events. Sometimes they have midway events too, where you can collect certain items and unlock certain Generals that you would not be able to otherwise, but that's not what I'm here to teach you. I'm here to talk to you about how to get Generals without spending money. Alright, so to do it my way, you have, if you look at the bottom of the notes here, you have a couple of requirements. First one is to have a tavern that is level 29 plus. And the reason for doing so is because after 29 it really increases your chances of getting consistent legendary and epic Generals in your tavern rather than the blues and the greens, which are completely useless. So you want to have at least a level 29 tavern. The higher the better, of course. You want to have at least 200,000 gems to spend, and you want to have at least 250 million gold. The reason you need so many is because you're going to be constantly refreshing your tavern, and that requires gems. And what I find is when you are refreshing, the more you do it, after about like 30,000 gems, you get these orange Generals, the really good Generals more consistently. So you need to be able to spend gems to get good Generals. And you're going to want to have as many gems as possible so that you can get what you need. The gold is really for purchasing. So you find Generals, you're going to want to buy them. If you run out of gold, that's going to suck. My goal with this account here, for my friend, is to collect a bunch of Generals that are called Queen Jindioks, and they're good for gathering. So very quickly, I'll talk to you about some of the different kinds of Generals you can get. Of course, you should go through and look at the portraits and analyze what you want specifically. But just looking through each of the categories, I can tell you some of the popular ones here. Nero's are pretty popular. He has a debuff, enemy troops HP minus 15%. You can put those on subordinate cities as a mayor, and then when you're attacking or defending with your sub-cities, it will apply against the enemy, so it helps you in the end. Let's see what else. In here, Gustavus is pretty popular, another debuff General. There's quite a few. Sub-city Generals are pretty important. Let's see, down here, I like Robert Lee because I don't like to spend money on wounded and stuff, so he increased my wounded for archers with all the technology that I have to nearly 100%, so I never lose anything, which is great for me. What else in here? Not too many. Some people like a few of these Generals. This guy is really popular. for having a dragon and archer attack. In Korea, Queen Jindeok is incredible for gathering. Definitely the best gathering general. You get extra resources when you use her, so everybody should have some of her. This guy is really good as well. Some people like to have a siege and archer build. He's great for that. China, got a few generals in here. Li is pretty popular as well. March size increase and range troop attack. Russia, you have some people have this guy, some people have this guy. There are a lot of options. Saladin, if you wanted to give some wounded, everybody should have Baybars, several Baybars, because he's the highest double drop. Everybody does bosses, so you should have Baybars. I wish this one was available in the tavern, but it's not. And then you have a whole lot of other ones in the others tab that are some available, some not. This guy is a low general, best low general. You definitely want one of him so that you can collect resources if you can find him. Trajan, some people have him for a ground build. Empress is a popular choice too. There's a lot. Just go through and browse for what you may need specifically. But everybody needs gathering, everybody needs double drop, everybody needs a low general, right? And the rest of it for PvP, wall general, all those kind of things, that depends on what you're trying to accomplish, so you're going to have to find those ones on your own. Okay, now for the exciting part. This is the miser's way to obtain generals. So what I find is when I do this, and I have my requirements of Tavern 29 plus, 200,000 gems or more, 250 million gold or more. When I do that, I can come out with a whole arsenal of generals, a lot of generals, and you'll kind of see that here. So when I'm doing that to speed things up, because it's refreshing at 50 gems at a time, I have 200 and something to spend. It's going to take a while. So I have it warn me only if the tavern has the following generals: so epic, orange, general. If I click on historic, it's going to tell me if there's a purple there too. If it tells me epic orange, it's going to tell me even if there's one that's not historic. I kind of wish there was an epic historic because that's the only thing I really want. But just choosing one of the two is enough, and I'll just have to stop and analyze every single time. So here we go. Frederick the Great. No, I don't want you. Emperor. No, I do not want you. I'm looking specifically for Jindeoks and possibly Baybars for this person. So you just click continue. So even though it's only 50 at a time, you can, with that thing checked, you can pretty safely click through, and you'll notice that it does stop you whenever you get to one. An Emir. This person, that my friend that I'm doing this for, does not need an Emir, but generally you would want to pick up an Emir to have at least one. Peter the Great, absolutely not. I think I actually bought the Emir. Are you sure you want to refresh? Yes. Okay, no. So like I said, what I tend to find is at the beginning, I go through a lot, and it takes a while before I start getting them like every couple screens, but eventually I do. And like I said, with the epic historic generals, I have that quick. Even these guys that have no skill books, no primary attributes, I'll still get them. But you're going to get stuff that you have to put through anyway. Here's my first Jindeok. Alright, I got 1 out of the 5 that I'm trying to get already. So I can recruit. All I do is click on the actual general and click recruit. There we go, recruit. Now continue. Tasha, no, I don't want you. Click Saladin, pretty good. but I don't need him. Assassin, no thank you. I believe is, I know a lot of people have Dimitri, but I don't really care for him, so sometimes you should be careful too. I've had a few times where Oda's pretty popular, but I don't think I need Oda. But sometimes, like, you see that this guy, he's the one that's shown up on the screen, but you should be careful. I've seen sometimes that there are multiple epic historic generals in the same refresh. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So just be aware of that so you don't miss out on something. Lincoln, absolutely not. Murphy, Emperor, no. Nope. I think for this friend I might pick up a few sub-generals if anything decent comes along, because I think I saw that my friend here has over 1 billion gold, so I don't know what he's really saving it for. So I might just surprise him with a few of those. Come on, we need some Jindiaks. Probably a good idea to, if you're not completely aware of what all these generals do, or you don't have a specific list of generals that you would be comfortable buying, that you have something open on the side, maybe a reference online that you can check. So I think I started with 270,000 gems. I'm estimating I'm probably at about 200,000 now. It's a lot of clicking, but it does, because there's only 50 at a time, it does go quite slow. Correctly, I think my friend had a 29 tavern. So you kind of get a rough idea here of what a 29 tavern looks like after a certain amount of gems, how many epic historics pop up for you to buy. And you know, sometimes you get really lucky and you can get what you want in just a few tries. Sometimes it takes a lot more. That's why I recommend at least 200,000 gems, because it can take a while. You might only spend 50,000. You might need to spend more. But 200,000 is a pretty good number. You should be able to get most of what you want by then. But if you can do 30 and above, it's definitely recommended. But it is a lot more costly to get to a level 30 tavern than a 29, so hopefully we can get a few more queens and some bay bars for this person. Not being too successful so far. So, I don't know what he does, but I can always just go here and look. He increases margin time. Yeah, so you can always go through and try to figure out. You can't click on them. I really wish you could, it just saves some time, but worst case you can always go to the book and just find the guy. Oh, I did forget to mention that I'm doing this during an event. There is a spending event. It's called Consuming Resources, Consuming whatever. And every single one of them has a a gem spending consumption. So you should make sure that you do this during that, because you will get rewards on the side as you search for your generals. Don't do it in between events, because you won't gain anything from that. I think you've popped up already. I didn't know you did, so let's take a look. Not lucky at all. Maybe should have waited for Tavern 30, but you never know. Sometimes you can be very lucky, sometimes not. Emperor, I know you're not very good, but let's take a look. Siege Machine by 35%. I mean, it's not something that I need to do. I do not use Siege when I'm not a spender, so Siege are pretty hard to replace. But they are pretty good. You gotta be willing to lose Siege. Happy if I don't get a few queens and a few bay bars. I have that problem. said that some people like Lee. Let me show you what he has. March size by 10%, range troop attack by 15%. So when you have a mixed one like this, march size 10%, range troop attack, because it's not just range troop attack or just march size, you can actually get those skill books and put them on to double up on it. So that means that for the 3 other extra skill book slots, I can put one of them being march size increase, one of them being range troop increase, and it ends up being much higher than you would normally with any other just straight stat general. But that's not something that this person wanted, so I'll continue. Top of the server character, they just put the funds. It's both gathering and bosses. But I have gotten a lot of decent generals so far. It's just that with such specific criterion, it's sometimes difficult to find what you are specifically wanting. But if it's just, I need some attacking generals, I need some sub-generals or anything like that, you should be able to find what you're looking for. Emperor again. So we started with 270. I'm going to go out in a second and just take a look at how much is left. 220,000. Alright, lots. So you just got to make sure that I click that back on, or else it'll skip through by accident. King Arthur's march size, I believe. Sounded great is march speed. I was really expecting to go through this tavern quite a bit faster. I've only used 50,000 gems. Jeez. Good news for my friend at least. Good, but not for this guy. thinking, I think his construction speed is not so great. No, he's gold production, that's what it is. Kingfish, I don't know what to do about if I don't win. Gotta get 200,000 already. Capacity. Oh yeah, finally, okay. I almost clicked confirm to skip. That would have really sucked. Alright, so click on the character and recruit. That's what you do. Amir again, that's a third guy. It's always the same, it seems. Not one day bars. Oh yes, another queen. See, sometimes you're lucky you get them right in a row. Sometimes you can take 1,000 jumps. You never know. Up to 3, but not one day bars. It is a time-consuming process. It does take a while. I apologize for that. Much longer than I expected, but some people probably would like to see what the process looks like, and all this clicking through, even though it's not so exciting, you do get to see these kinds of generals that pop up and not often, so it is pretty valuable. Trajan, I believe, is ground. My friend, make ground. But even in comparison, like if I get a couple Queen Jinyoks, and I spent 200,000 gems, and what, they're like 30 million gold each. So I spent 60 million gold, a couple 100,000 gems. Compare that to buying 5 boxes for the event, and yeah, you get other stuff for the boxes, but if your primary goal is to get the general in the 5th package, you spend several $100s just to get that. Whereas you could just spend gems, a few gems. It takes maybe like 2 months, maybe 3 months if you were slow to get that many gems. That's really the easiest way to do it. Caesar, what do you do? Supporting construction or something. Let's go and do some march signs. Another one, grow. comparison for queens, but bay bars, you know, you can get fairly close with just a level 4 skill book. One more to go. And there it is, the 5th queen. Alright, let's see what the tally is at the end. We started at 270, finished at 150. So I'm going to stop there because really the goal was to get the 5 queen Jindiaks, and we have accomplished that. Here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't need more than 5, there are only 5 marches anyway. And the bay bars would have been nice, but they're not essential. I think my friend here said he wanted the 5 queens no matter what, whatever it took. But the bay bars were just a bonus. So we got it. It only cost 120,000 gems. So pretty average. I say requirements are 200,000 gems or more, because if you have very specific demands, you want 5 queen Jindiaks, then you're probably going to get it with 200,000 even if you're unlucky. If you're lucky, you might only spend 50. We're in the average. We spent 120 and 30 million per. So yeah, turned out to be pretty good. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave those in the comments, and I'll get back to you in the next video.